Okay, let's dive in. We've got some really interesting source material today. It's excerpts from a motivational video transcript. Quite potent stuff.
Definitely has a strong voice. And our mission here, as always, is to really get under the hood, unpack the core messages we're seeing: resilience, belief, action.
Yeah, exactly. We want to pull out the key insights, see how they fit together, and, understand the framework it's suggesting you apply.
Mhm. We'll touch on, looking back to move forward, the power it attributes to the human spirit, the warnings about fear, and this interesting split between principles and feelings.
Right. So first up is this idea about understanding the past. It's quite distinct in how it frames planning, or maybe the limits of planning.
Yeah, it says very directly, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards.
That really does flip the script on traditional goal setting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Suggests clarity comes, well, after the fact.
It does. And because you can't see the future path clearly, the source insists you have to trust something. It gives options: your gut, destiny, life, karma.
It leaves it open, but that element of trust is presented as non-negotiable.
Absolutely. And the why behind that trust is key. It argues that believing the dots will connect later gives you the confidence needed to follow your heart.
Especially, it seems, when your heart pulls you off the well-worn path, as the text puts it.
Exactly. So trust isn't just passive hope here. It's framed as the bedrock for taking courageous steps, stepping away from the norm.
And doing that, taking that less traveled path, is what it claims makes all the difference. So confidence from past trust fuels future unique action.
Yeah, and that idea of a unique path leads straight into the next theme: living your own truth. It starts with a pretty stark reminder.
Oh yeah, your time is limited. Very blunt.
And the immediate follow-up is just as direct. So don't waste it living someone else's life.
It warns against being trapped by dogma. And it defines that very specifically, doesn't it?
It does, living with the results of other people's thinking, which is quite a specific take on it.
It's not just about thinking differently, but about your actual life outcomes being shaped by external ideas, not your own.
Right. So the antidote, naturally, is finding and listening to your inner voice and not letting it get drowned out by the noise of others' opinions.
Okay, so how does the source suggest you find that inner voice? It seems tied to finding what you genuinely love.
Yes, it makes that connection explicit for both work and relationships. You've got to find what you love, it says.
And it highlights how much of life is work. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life.
Given that, it makes a really strong claim about satisfaction. The only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work.
And then it links that directly to passion. How do you do great work?
Well, according to this text, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. It's presented as the essential condition.
No wiggle room there. So if you're listening and thinking, well, I don't love my job, what's the advice?
Very clear, very energetic. Keep looking and don't settle. It's positioned as an active quest you just have to undertake.
Speaking of quests, the source is realistic about the journey itself. It acknowledges there will be ups and downs.
Ups, and you're going to have some downs, yeah.
Yeah.
But the focus isn't on avoiding the downs, it's on how you respond to them.
Right. It contrasts feeling strong when things are easy, good health, paid bills, happy relationships, versus when you're really tested.
Yeah, suggesting that true strength, true resilience is revealed in those tough moments, not the easy ones.
And it has this deep belief in our capacity during those times. Declares the human spirit is powerful and hard to kill.
That power really shows up, according to the text, when you get knocked down or feel defeated.
Which brings in courage. It explicitly links courage to action. It takes courage to act, especially after a setback.
And it specifically highlights the courage required to start over again, not just enduring, but actively beginning anew after falling.
That need for courage in difficult times leads us right into what the source sees as a huge barrier: fear. It's incredibly direct about fear's effects.
Oh, absolutely. Doesn't pull any punches. Fear kills dreams, kills hope. Pretty stark language.
It even describes physical consequences. Fear can put people in the hospital, can age you. It treats fear as this, tangible, destructive force.
Yeah, and how does it work? It suggests fear holds you back from doing things you know you're capable of.
But ultimately, its effect is paralysis. It will paralyze you. That's the final word on fear in this section.
Which sets up, I think, a really central idea in this source. The distinction it draws between principles and feelings.
Right. This feels core to its philosophy. It's presented as crucial for actually achieving anything.
It draws a sharp contrast. At the end of your feelings is nothing, but at the end of every principle is a promise. It even repeats that. Behind every principle is a promise.
Implying feelings are fleeting, maybe unreliable for building things, while principles are foundational, dependable, they guarantee something.
Exactly, and it connects letting feelings rule directly to why people might not reach their goals.
It uses that relatable example, not feeling like waking up early. You don't feel like waking up, who does? It asks, almost rhetorically.
But then it immediately laid out the consequence of choosing that feeling over principle. Each time you do, it warns, you could be pushing your dreams back significantly. A whole 6 months, a whole year.
Wow, that one single day could have pushed your stuff back I don't know how long.
Yeah. So small emotional choices have potentially massive cumulative effects.
That's the argument. So the instruction is absolute. Don't allow your emotion to control you, with a stark warning. If you don't discipline and contain your emotion, they will use you.
That theme of discipline of control really underpins the next part about embracing challenges and taking responsibility. It doesn't pretend it's simple.
No, it states up front it's not going to be easy. And as to the logic, if it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. Difficulty is part of the deal for anything worthwhile.
And if you are serious about it, the requirement is you go all out, full commitment needed, which seems to stem from this internal declaration of control. I'm in control here. Taking charge internally.
And that statement is paired with resolving not to be defeated by setbacks. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me.
It's a refusal to be defined by the struggle, and then that powerful follow-up. I'm coming back, and I'll be stronger and better because of it.
That comeback mindset is tied to deciding what you stand for, which leads to what feels like the absolute core message.
Take full responsibility for your life. That seems to be the linchpin of this entire perspective.
And what does that look like in practice, according to the source?
It's defined as accept where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. Acceptance plus ownership of the journey forward.
That ownership then fuels intentionality, living each day as if it were my last, with passion and drive.
But it requires effort. You have to actively push yourself and critically shift focus away from the past.
Right. It doesn't matter about what happened yesterday or even what happened to you. The crucial question is,
what are you going to do about it? All the power is placed in your present response and future action.
this forward-looking, action-focused view builds towards this final section on commitment and just sticking with it, perseverance.
Yeah, it offers a clear declaration. This year, I will make this goal become a reality. And it's about doing, not just planning or wishing.
I won't talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Shifting entirely to execution.
And underpinning that is this simple, repeated affirmation. I can, I can, I can. Reinforcing that self-belief needed for action.
Finally, it circles back to the nature of the journey. It requires ongoing effort. To persevere, I think, is important for everybody.
The final command really sums it up. Don't give up, don't give in. And it ends on a note of, well, ultimate possibility.
There's always an answer to everything. A statement of faith, almost.
So zooming back out, it's a really potent message, isn't it? A call to action based on, you could say, radical self-responsibility. Believing in your own spirit over circumstances or feelings.
Yeah, it definitely presents a framework where you use the past for confidence, listen to your inner truth, prioritize principles over feelings, and achieve goals through sheer, persistent effort and responsibility.
It's a very specific viewpoint on navigating life, heavily weighted towards internal control, drive, mindset, and principle. Not much room for external excuses here.
No, not at all. It really forces you to confront what you're prioritizing day to day. Is it the immediate feeling, the comfort, or the principle you know leads towards your goal?
Exactly. It starkly highlights the potential long-term cost of letting momentary emotions dictate your path instead of a chosen principle or direction.
Okay, so let's leave our listeners with something to think about, drawing from this. Given the source's heavy emphasis on principles over feelings and taking responsibility regardless of the past, how might focusing on just one specific principle you find challenging right now, maybe discipline, maybe honesty, maybe courage, or taking one small act of responsibility today for a goal you've been putting off, how might that single small shift begin to change your trajectory? What's the immediate first step look like?